skiing down an 8,000-meter mountain is nothing short of madness. It's a feat that pushes the boundaries of human endurance and courage. In 2018, Hilaree Nelson and Jim Morrison defied these limits by completing the first ski descent of Lhotse, the fourth tallest peak in the world. This achievement not only made history, but also forever changed the landscape of extreme sports. In 2022, they set their sights on another daunting challenge, Manaslu. Known as one of the easier 8,000-meter peaks, Manaslu's 2022 climbing season proved otherwise, dominated by heavy snowfall and avalanches, turning it into one of the most treacherous years in the mountain's history. This is the story of their final fateful expedition. Hilaree Nelson was more than just a climber and skier. She was a pioneer, a mother, and an inspiration to adventurers worldwide. This is a tribute to her remarkable life, her unparalleled achievements, and the risks she embraced in her relentless pursuit of the extraordinary. Hilaree Nelson was born in Seattle on December 13, 1972, to Stanley and Robin Nelson. She was the youngest of 3 siblings, and her early life was filled with adventure and an introduction to the outdoors that would shape her future. On weekends, Hilaree and her siblings would ride a bus to ski at Stevens Pass in the Cascades, where she developed her initial love for skiing. Her mother worked on boats and boat yards around Seattle, while her father ran a family car dealership and took the family on week-long sailing trips, fostering a spirit of exploration and adventure in Hilaree from a young age. When questioned about her journey into ski mountaineering, Nelson explained, "I fell in love with this sport probably when I was a late teenager, 18 or 19 years old. I was going to college in Colorado, and the group of friends that I was in love to go explore all the 14,000-foot peaks around Colorado. And I started going and doing that with them, and we'd go in the wintertime and bring skis, and it kind of all just clicked for me. I really loved the going up and had such freedom going down as well." Although she learned to ski in the Cascades, her career as a skier began to take off when she moved to Chamonix, France, after graduating from Colorado College in the 1990s. In Chamonix, she shifted her focus from pursuing a career as a marine biologist to becoming a professional skier and alpinist. In 1996, Hilaree won the European Extreme Ski Competition in Chamonix, marking a significant milestone in her skiing career. By 1999, she had secured sponsorship with the North Face, which opened doors to expeditions on the world's most remote and challenging mountains. And by 2001, Hilaree had already traveled to some of the most prominent peaks in Lebanon, Russia, India, and South America. Hilaree Nelson's mountaineering feats are nothing short of legendary. She broke barriers and set records that inspired climbers worldwide. On May 25, 2012, she made history as the first woman to summit 2 8,000-meter peaks, Everest and Lhotse, in a single 24-hour push. This remarkable achievement showcased her endurance, skill, and indomitable spirit. In 2015, Hilaree added another milestone to her list by completing the first female descent of the Makalu La Couleur on the 27,766-foot Makalu. This feat required not only technical expertise but also immense courage, as the Couleur is known for its challenging conditions. Her 2017 expeditions were equally impressive. Hilaree completed a double summit on Denali, climbing the treacherous Cassin Ridge and then skiing down the Messner Couleur. In the same year, she achieved a first descent on the 21,298-foot Basura Peak in the Indian Himalaya, alongside her climbing partners Jim Morrison and photographer Chris Figgenshaw. 2018 was a landmark year for Hilaree. Along with Jim Morrison, she made the first ski descent of Lhotse. This incredible achievement led National Geographic to name her one of their Adventurers of the Year, a testament to her pioneering spirit and exceptional skill. In the same year, she was named captain of the North Face Global Athlete Team, taking over a role held by renowned climber Conrad Anker for 3 decades. This position recognized not only her climbing prowess but also her leadership and influence in the climbing community. Between these major highlights, Hilaree embarked on dozens of other expeditions to uncharted peaks in Myanmar, the remote terrains of Baffin Island, and the rugged landscapes of the Andes. Each expedition showcased her relentless pursuit of adventure and her passion for exploring the unknown. In every climb, every descent, Hilaree pushed the boundaries of what was possible, leaving an indelible mark on the world of mountaineering and skiing. Oftentimes in life, people want to play it safe. and we make everything around us to be comfortable and safe. And so we can make choices where you can see where that road is going to take you. And I've always been prone to making a choice that I don't know where it's going to take me. Hilaree Nelson's climbing philosophy and approach to challenges were shaped by her many experiences on some of the world's most formidable peaks. Among these, her expedition to Rasi in Myanmar stands out as a pivotal moment in her career and mindset. Despite gaining significant recognition for summiting both Everest and Lhotse in a single day, Nelson sought an old-school adventure, a departure from the increasingly crowded and commercialized routes of the Himalayas. This desire led her to Rasi, a remote and isolated peak in Myanmar, offering a chance to experience mountaineering in its purest form. The Rasi expedition was not just about reaching the summit, it was about the entire journey. Nelson led her team on a 2-week trek through the dense jungles of Myanmar just to reach the base of the mountain. This trek was as much about cultural immersion as it was about physical endurance. The 4-month effort, funded by the National Geographic Society, pushed Nelson and her team to their limits. Despite their monumental efforts, they ultimately did not reach the summit of Rasi. The media labeled the expedition a failure, but for Nelson and her team, it was anything but. However, Nelson's resilience and refusal to accept defeat transformed the so-called failure into a source of newfound drive and determination.
The first is that failure frees us from perfection.
Although the sting of not summiting Rasi was real, it seemed to ignite a new fire within her. She returned with a gleam in her eye, more determined than ever to succeed as a Himalayan climber and expedition leader. This transformation underscored her belief that the true measure of an expedition's success lies in the journey, the experiences, and the lessons learned along the way. Hilaree Nelson's climbing philosophy was rooted in empathy, a relentless pursuit of knowledge, and an unwavering rejection of limitations. Her experiences, especially on Rasi, demonstrated her belief that the essence of adventure lies in the journey itself, not just in reaching the summit. This mindset not only defined her approach to climbing but also inspired countless others in the mountaineering community. Skiing down an 8,000-meter mountain is daunting, to say the least. But in 2018, Hilaree Nelson and Jim Morrison did just that on Lhotse, making history. 4 years later, they set their sights on Manaslu, the 8th highest mountain in the world. This time, the challenge would be even greater. Manaslu, often considered one of the easier 8,000-meter peaks, is still an enormous challenge. In 2022, the mountain presented climbers with unprecedented difficulties due to heavy snowfall and avalanches. The true summit of Manaslu is separated from a false summit by a perilous ridge, notorious for its soft snow, harsh weather, and frequent avalanches. This was the setting for Hilaree Nelson and Jim Morrison's climb in September 2022. In September 2022, Hilaree and Jim arrived at Manaslu, expecting the fall weather to be the safest. However, constant snowfall made the climb incredibly difficult. Many expeditions abandoned their attempts, but Hilaree and Jim pressed on. By late September, the snowfall had reached alarming depths of 4 to 5 feet near the death zone after snowing for 15 days straight. Despite the treacherous conditions, they started preparing for a summit push, determined to seize the brief summit window. Another female climber, Kristen Harila, who ascended to the top of Manaslu before the duo, described the conditions as the toughest she had ever faced, with deep snow and multiple avalanches. Despite these challenges, she and other climbers managed to reach the summit, setting the stage for Hilaree and Jim's attempt. On September 26th, Jim and Hilaree reached the true summit of Manaslu at 10:42 a.m. In tough conditions, they quickly transitioned from climbing to skiing. Jim went first, followed by Hilaree. The snow was thick and soft. As Hilaree followed Jim, the powder under her skis collapsed, triggering a small avalanche. In an instant, she was swept off her feet and carried down a narrow snow slope on the south side of the mountain. The south side was the direct opposite slope, and there was no trail, making it nearly impossible for Jim to do anything but watch in horror as Hilaree tumbled off the sharp ridge and down the steep slope. Rescue efforts began immediately, but were delayed by another avalanche that killed a Sherpa and injured 12 climbers between camps 3 and 4. To make matters worse, the fixed lines from Camp 3 to the summit were buried under snow, making it nearly impossible to descend the mountain until the lines were re-established. The next day, a search helicopter spotted a ski in clothing 1,900 meters below the summit, but because of poor weather conditions, they couldn't confirm if it was Hilaree. Jim, along with 2 Sherpas, was flown to the location the following day. With a sinking feeling in his heart, Jim found Hilaree's body buried in the snow. Jim described the events on Instagram, ending with a heartfelt message, "Peace be with us all. Pray for her family and community, which is broadly stretched across our planet. I am devastated by her loss." The climbing community mourned Hilaree's loss, recognizing the incredible climber, skier, and person they had lost. Yet, the 2022 season's dangers persisted. Just days after Hilaree's death, another avalanche swept through the base camp, claiming another Sherpa's life, who was descending from Camp 2 to Camp 1. With more avalanches reported higher on the mountain, almost all remaining expeditions decided to end their season and pack up for the winter, marking the end of the brutal 2022 season on Manaslu. Manaslu, often considered one of the easier 8,000-meter peaks, proved that even the simplest mountains can be deadly. The 2022 season was a harsh reminder of the mountain's unforgiving nature. Hilaree Nelson's legacy as a pioneering climber and skier lives on, inspiring adventurers worldwide to push the limits while respecting the formidable power of the mountains. "I don't think she could really handle normal life without having that other side, being on the edge. And you could tell that she just loved it," says Harrington. "That's where she was at peace, when we were out on an expedition doing something really complicated and dangerous that required a lot of mountain experience. That was where she thrived." For her athleticism, skill, and drive alone, Nelson would have been a leader in her sport. But what set her apart was how she showed up in her relationships, as both superhero and relatable friend. She was also an activist, campaigning for strong environmental policy, with the nonprofit Protect Our Winters and serving on the board of the American Alpine Club. Hilaree Nelson's life and career are a testament to the spirit of adventure, resilience, and the pursuit of the extraordinary. Her accomplishments, from the first ski descent of Lhotse to her daring climbs of Everest and Oyu, showcase her incredible skill and determination. Hilaree's ability to balance her role as a mother with her passion for extreme sports made her story even more compelling and inspirational. Her tragic death on Manaslu in 2022 serves as a stark reminder of the inherent dangers in high-altitude mountaineering and skiing. Despite meticulous planning and preparation, the unpredictability of nature can lead to unforeseen and devastating outcomes. Hilaree's legacy, however, is not defined by her final moments, but by her remarkable achievements and the inspiration she provided to countless adventurers around the world. Hilaree's story is one of pushing boundaries, breaking records, and living life to its fullest. She demonstrated that with courage, passion, and perseverance, one can achieve incredible feats. Her life continues to inspire and remind us of the beauty and peril of exploring the world's highest peaks. As we remember Hilaree Nelson, we honor her contributions to mountaineering and skiing and celebrate the extraordinary life she led. Thank you for sticking till the end. If you liked our video recounting the story of Hilaree Nelson and are interested in similar content in the future, please show your support by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Please stay tuned for more upcoming videos.